again to your program, Ópera en tu sofá, a program from San Diego Ópera to you. And today we have a very special guest. I'm kind of humbled and honored to have her. We have our very famous singer, Emily Fons, with us. Hi, Emily. Welcome.
Hi,
Bienvenida
thank
al
you.
programa. And you know what? Emily now is teaching for our words and music program. And I will let Emily talk a little bit about how was she invited or how she came into this Words of Music program. Remember that Words of Music is the program that we have in San Diego Opera where we go into the schools and we have teaching artists. We have had some talks with Nick and John Gabriel. Nick Reveles, John Gabriel, he's the director of the education program. And we also had a conversation with Mario Ramirez, another teaching artist. But this is like really like a privilege to have Emily Fons with us teaching because she has a very big career in operatic singing and opera. Anyway, Emily, tell us, how did you come on board into this program?
Well, the first time I sang with San Diego Opera was, I can't even remember when it was, 2015, I think. I was in town to sing in Don Giovanni, and it was kind of my introduction to the company. And I loved everybody I met. I thought every single person was welcoming and really, really focused on doing the best job they could. So the second time I came back, I reached out to the education department. I didn't really know anybody yet. And I said, I would love to be involved because I know how much support the community gave to San Diego Opera, you know, when it went through difficult times. And I just think it's so important as artists that we give back into the community that supports us. And that we make connections with people who love opera already and people who don't know anything about opera. I think all the connections we make in the community are important. So I asked John, I said, you know, is there something I can do? Is there a way I can help out? And some kids had come to see Marriage of Figaro, the show we were doing at the time. And some of the students were from an organization called La Maestra. Maybe you can describe a little bit what La Maestra is. You probably can say better than I can.
Well, you know, what I know of La Maestra is it's a place where, well, it's a school, and then we have these programs, and we go into La Maestra and we teach children. I think we have very strong programs in 6th and 7th grade.
Mhm.
That's where we have our core. And then I interview Mario Ramirez, who has taught 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 grades. And it's great because he saw like the curve of learning of these kids, and it's very moving. Anyway, so you went to La Maestra, which is like 99% Latino population, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the kids were Latino for sure. There were some kids that weren't though. You know, there were some Somali American immigrant families. You know, so definitely, yeah, I would say most of the kids were Latino. They were actually doing a program they had created of the legend of La Llorona. So they had written the words, they had come up with dances, they were writing songs. And I think what struck me about it was that, you know, I think a lot of opera companies, the kind of method of approaching the community is, here's opera, now you should like it. And what I really liked about the way San Diego Opera approached it was, here are pieces of what make up opera. So here's storytelling, here's music, here's dance, here's community teamwork. And you know, you can do all of those things in your own way. And so I was so impressed by how San Diego Opera used the elements of opera to engage kids, and the kids looked like they were having fun. You know, I was like, that is what we want. You know, we want kids to enjoy the parts of opera that we love and make it their own. And so, you know, I was supposed to be back in San Diego for the Barber of Seville, and I had every intent of going back to La Maestra and working with the education department. But I reached out to John and I said, is there any way we can still do something? Because I would love to be a part of that. I think as artists, we get built up, when we see art influencing children in such an amazing way, and I just wanted to be a part of that. So I'm now teaching. I have one student that I teach privately. We meet once a week on Zoom and we do voice lessons, but it's not just voice lessons. Her name is Cynthia. She loves mariachi music. And you probably look at me and you think, mariachi music, how you know? And to be honest, I didn't know much about mariachi music, but I think this is one of the things that I like the most about this kind of work, is that I get to learn too. And I think, as an artist, getting forced outside of your box is one of the most important things, or not even forced, but choosing to step outside of your box is one of the most important things you can do to understand yourself and to understand what impact music and art can make. So Cynthia and we started out, please go ahead.
No, finish and then I'll comment. I'll have two comments that I think they're very apropos. So
Okay.
Cynthia, you are working together.
Yep, and the opera was amazing. They were able to get her an electronic keyboard that's just like the one I have. It's just this little teeny travel one. And we got stickers so we could label all the keys so she can learn where the notes are. And when we get together, we definitely sing, but we also just talk about music, and we work on hearing notes and singing along and finding different colors in her voice and playing around. And I always let her take the reins. We only work on stuff that she wants to work on. And that, I think, is really important to me in all of this too, is that I'm not saying, this is music I like, you should like it too, or this is how I learned to sing, so this is how you should learn too. I really like the journey of finding out what makes Cynthia tick, what she loves, and how I can help her love it more or understand it better. And yeah, so that's one of the things I'm doing. Do you want to talk about that before I go on to the next part?
It's pretty amazing, because the approach is going into the community and making the community belong, because when they open up their music to you, they feel that they belong to us too. So it's this sense of belonging. And it's generally speaking, in the past, opera companies would go and teach them about the composers or the opera, and I think San Diego Opera is really trying to to embrace this community that is very musical, and we're talking about mariachi.
Very.
And mariachi is a vehicle of vocal singing throughout. And it's a society that is very, very musical, and they sing a lot because they have these mariachi bands and groups and instruction, I would say, and they follow big artists that sing mariachi. So there's a connection between opera and mariachi that we've been talking about, like I would say the last 6 months. And we did produce a mariachi program, especially for everybody, so everybody understands what's this weird connection, but it exists. There's this bridge. Anyway, I think before we continue, I would like to share with our audience some videos that Emily has been working on and that she shares with the teachers in the schools. And these are music videos where she explains basic elements of music so the children can understand them too, and for the teachers to share them with their students. So why don't we go ahead and see a couple of your videos.
So we just learned that a scale is a group of notes that either all go up or all go down. There are lots of different scales that we can play using the notes on the piano. I showed you one that started on middle C. To explain a little bit better about the different kinds of scales, I'm going to have you come outside with me. Follow me. Okay, here we are outside my house. My house has some stairs. My stairs have a starting point and an ending point. I could get from the bottom to the top by going up every stair. I could also get from the bottom to the top by going up every other stair. Or I could go up one stair and then 2 stairs. I'm still starting in the same place and ending in the same place. I'm just using a different combination of stairs to get there. Scales are a little bit the same. All right, let's go back inside. Okay, we're back inside at the piano. So remember, when we were outside, I used my staircase to show you that there's a lot of different ways to get from the bottom stair to the top stair. You can use every stair, you can use every other stair, or you can do any other number of things to get from the bottom to the top. Well, scales are a little bit the same way. We're still going to pick a starting note and an ending note, but we can change how we get from the starting note to the ending note, and that will make our scale sound different. Okay, so you might be thinking, why would you need all these different scales? Like, isn't the one scale good enough? Can't we just play just the white keys? Well, think about it this way. It's a little bit like picking out an outfit to wear. So you need different outfits for different things. You wouldn't wear the same thing to the beach that you would wear to church, or you wouldn't wear the same thing to school that you would wear to a sleepover. It's kind of the same way. Different scales sound different ways, and we use them for different things. It's also a little bit like picking out your outfit. So let's say you want to wear all black. That's great. What if you put on a red hat? The red hat wouldn't look bad with your outfit. It would look really cool, but you would notice the red hat. So scales are a little bit the same way. Remember, I said they're a group of notes that either all go up or all go down. And I played 3 different types of scales for you. You can think of those scales kind of like as outfits. Like, one scale could be your all black outfit. One scale could be all white. One could be all pink. Sometimes we borrow notes from one scale and use them in another for a reason. It's kind of like that red hat. If you have a scale that's all black and you add one red note, that red note becomes special. Now, you don't need to know much more about that now. It's just another thing to think about, how cool music is. We have groups of things. We can borrow from other groups of things to make it sound different and make it sound special. So again, scales are groups of notes that either all go up or all go down. You can think of them a little bit as outfits. A purple scale, a red scale, a yellow scale. And if you need something a little different or a little special, you might borrow from a different outfit. You might put on a pink belt with your purple scale, or you might put on a red hat with your black scale. It's just another way to think about music. We have it organized in a really cool way, but within that, you get to play around a lot. And that's why it's possible to have so many different kinds of music, and scales are a part of that.
Well, here we are again with this amazing performer and teacher. And, prior to starting the program, I was asking Emily, where was she from? Because it struck me how warm she is. She's a very warm person. And I was just wondering where in this super huge territory was she born? So tell us a little bit about your story. And I love the area where you're from. You are very, very warm people. That's my take. And probably, most likely, you have quick, immediate connection with these kids with your warmth. So tell us, Emily, where are you from?
Sure. So I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I live there again. I've lived kind of all over the country for different reasons. For school, I went to school in Iowa. For college, I went to Luther College, and then I did my master's degree at Southern Illinois University in Carbondale. And then I did my singing training as a young artist in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and in Chicago, Illinois, at the Ryan Center Lyric Opera of Chicago. But yeah, so I'm a born and raised Midwesterner for sure. And I think you're right. I think the Midwest has a, you know, kind of a friendly vibe. You know, people say hi to each other, and family is really important to me too. And I think it's really important to most people in the Midwest. I think something that's kind of unique, I think a lot of people stay in the Midwest, or, you know, I think when you get to the coasts, you have a lot of people that are from other places, you know, but I think in the Midwest, a lot of people's grandparents lived in the Midwest, and, you know, it's generations, I think, you know, so that's a little different than definitely, you know, I've always loved teaching young people because I remember what it was like to be that age, and I remember what felt good and what did not feel good in terms of, you know, when someone would try to teach me something. So I think regardless of a student's age, respecting them for who they are is the most important thing.
Well, how lucky.
And I think that's why I connect with students like Cynthia.
Okay. I mean, I'm
yeah, and you know, I think there are yeah, I just think everyone is so individual, and when you're asking them to use their voice, it can feel so personal. You know, singing is so personal, and when you're in someone's, you know, with Cynthia, I'm Zooming with her. She's in her home. You know, she's basically welcoming me into her home. We've never met in person, you know, and her life experiences are really different from mine. You know, she's bilingual. I'm not bilingual. I work so hard to learn as many languages as I can, but I'm not bilingual. I don't, you know, so I have a lot of respect for who she is, and I don't want to change that. And I think that's the most important thing about how I see connecting with students and teaching them, is to find who they are and how to make that blossom, because I wouldn't want them to be anybody else. So I feel honored that I get to learn about, you know, other cultures. You know, when Cynthia introduces me to music that she likes, it's not things I listen to, and then I have to go and translate it, you know, and so, you know, I actually started using Duolingo. So I've been doing Spanish on Duolingo.
So tell me, what are these songs? Who sings them?
So she sent me one called A Través del Vaso. It's Grupo Arranque is the group that she likes singing it, and it's been stuck in my head for like 2 months. You know, so I'm singing these songs, and she also sent me some links for Jenny Rivera. Yeah. Which are great. And then in our last lesson, and this was one of those moments where it was just this connection that was so unexpected. She said, I'd like to work on this piece that I keep hearing, or I've heard it a lot. I don't know if you know it. It's called Fly Me to the Moon. Fly Me to the Moon.
Oh, wow.
And right. And, you know, so all of a sudden I was like, this is so funny. I was like, Cynthia, I was like, I love jazz music. I love, you know, the, you know, kind of like classic jazz, you know, hits and stuff like that. And it was just this new little window into, like, she was sharing something she liked, and it happened to be something that I liked too, you know? So I think you can always be surprised by, like, when you just let it flow naturally, you know, it's, yeah, you can just, and another singer she said was, I like Linda Ronstadt. I had no idea Linda Ronstadt sang all this mariachi music.
Yeah.
I first heard Linda Ronstadt in a VHS recording of Pirates of Penzance. She was singing, you know, so I think of Linda Ronstadt as this, you know, like singing opera. Cynthia thinks of Linda Ronstadt as a mariachi singer. And I think, you know, it's amazing.
Because Linda Ronstadt represents the first crossover, true crossover. Linda Ronstadt is an icon for us because she could manage to be in both worlds. Not only that, but sing, and she's very respected and revered as that, as a
amazing.
She's you know, as the first woman. She's not the first woman, but she did a very robust career. She has in both sides. So I think a lot of kids do know about her because of the grandparents or the parents. So this is amazing. I just want to tell to the audience, a través del vaso means going through the glass. I can see you through the glass, or I don't know the poetry or the lyrics of this song, but it must be something like that.
Yeah, well, it's the guy who sings it, he's very heartbroken, and he's drinking his sorrows away, but every time he tips his glass up to drink another beer or something, he sees
her.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I just,
this is fascinating, Emily, because these are the cultural bridges, the connective tissue that we want to do.
completely. And I think sometimes it can be scary, for someone like me. I feel somewhat removed. I know that my grandparents were Polish on one side and German on the other side. And to some extent that has played a part in who I am, of course. My cultural references from my grandparents and parents are flavored with that. But I feel really far away from it. It's not, I think, as close as some of these students that I'm talking to. And in a way that's intimidating for me, because I very much don't want to be this outsider that's coming in with something to say. I'm very much aware that I want to share and I want to learn, and I want to build those bridges that you're talking about, and have it feel organic and natural and not forced.
I think you have done it. I think she opening up to you and sharing her music that she's proud of, it's a lot. So, and
it is a lot. Yeah.
I'm very happy that it's you that is holding this and holding her trust and holding the proudness of the culture and blah blah blah. I mean, how great, how lucky she is. So I think now we're gonna look in this very small window excerpt of one of Emily's and Cynthia's classes, and we'll see what comes up. Let's enjoy it.
Okay, so remember how, like, when we did lip bubbles, we would do scales kind of like this. Let's go a little bit higher. Yeah, let's go here. Can you try singing it? Yes, that's super close. Okay, I'm gonna have you try one thing. That was awesome. I know it feels really weird, but it actually really helps you use your air really well, because sometimes when you're singing, you don't always get to take a breath every place you want to, right? Like sometimes you have to sing through a phrase or something, and you have to have your breath last a little bit longer. So I feel like this is a really great way to kind of wake up all the parts of your body that you need for breathing, but it's also a really great way to warm up, because you don't have to think about words or vowels or consonants. It's like you're just making sound. So I just want to make sure you really hear the first pitch. So I'm going to play it again slowly. So before you blow bubbles, can you hum that? Yeah. Yeah, now blow bubbles. Now start exactly there and try it through your straw. Yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. And so you want to keep your lips kind of like relaxed around it. So first try, just don't make any sound, just blow some bubbles. Yeah. Can you see how long you can blow bubbles for? Like take a really nice deep breath and see how long you can blow bubbles for.
Okay.
I'll do it with you. You can go pretty long, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, so all you're gonna do, you don't need to change anything. You don't need to blow any harder into your straw, but just go back here and do the exact same thing. You don't need to blow any harder. Yeah.
Wow. So we learned a lot of on how to handle a kid with respect and with joy. So thank you, Emily. Thank you for sharing with us this class. And we're coming to the end of the program, but before we leave, I wanted to ask Emily if she wanted to add something. And for you, my audience, our audience, we're gonna share with you at the end of the program right now a video that Emily did for us that has to do with the Barber of Seville that we are going to present in the spring, hopefully. And well, I'll leave it to you, Emily, and thank you so much for being in this program, for accepting being here. So tell us a little bit about some last words and a little bit of your video.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me too. It really means a lot that San Diego found an artistic outlet for me during these difficult times, so that really means a lot to me. And I think, I just would encourage anybody who wants to be part of, community involvement in the opera company, or maybe my fellow colleagues or my singers, to take the plunge and just try, because it's not always easy, but if you're open-minded and you're giving of yourself and you're willing to learn, I think it can make all of us better artists, and it does exactly what we're hoping to do. It shows community members that we care and that opera is a safe place for them to express themselves. So I think that's why we're all in this. The video that you're going to see is my debut as a stand-up comic as well. I think, I tried to do something a little bit silly and lighthearted. I took little bits and pieces in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as if I were Rosina, my character from Barber of Seville, in quarantine. So I hope you enjoy it. It was a lot of fun to make, and I cannot wait to be back to do Barber of Seville for real in San Diego.
Thank you so much, Emily. Let's enjoy this part, the last part of our program, and thank you, friends. Gracias, amigos. Gracias, Banco de América. Thanks, Bank of America, for your support, and we'll see you next program. Thank you, Emily. Let's watch.
Thank you.
I don't think there is a single character in opera that knows about quarantine better than Rosina. When we meet Rosina in Barber of Seville, she is the ward of Dr. Bartolo. He's got her locked in her room. She can't get out to meet her boyfriend. She's all dressed up with nowhere to go. So you tell me, which one of these quarantined Rosinas are you today? Non è venuto ancora, forse. Sì, l'indoro mio sarà. Giurai che mi serve lo spirito che giova alla bellezza, si chiusa io sempre sto a quattro mura che mi par d'esser proprio in sepoltura. Mi poteva delirar. Caro a te mi raccomando, tu mi salva per pietà. Ecco qua, sempre un'istoria, sempre oppressa, maltrattata. Ah, che vita! Disperata, non lo so più sopportar. Costo sospiri pene un sì felice istante, al fin quest'alma amante comincia a respirare.